He's never fought us. Not us united.
Oh! I can so see that. That's it. Welcome to Comics League Justice League Rewatch. I'm your host Jared. I'm here with Nick from the Phoenix Press. What's up, dude?
You know, I'm feeling kind of smug. I feel the need to lord it all over you.
Of course. So, yeah, we're talking about a better world. In other words, and this is going to be the title of the episode, Injustice Before Injustice.
There are gods among us.
Yeah, because for the general consensus of this episode, by the way, this episode does a lot. Introduces the multiverse, introduces freaking Doomsday.
Yeah, that's going to be a complaint I have, but we'll get to that.
Me too. Trust me, dude. I didn't notice it until now. In other words, till this watch through, how much I don't like this Doomsday.
Okay, we'll get to that.
We'll talk about that, but I just want to bring that up. So, in this episode, but I love the fake out where this is taking place on an alternate Earth for like the first like quarter of the episode, and we don't know it. So I'm like, okay, that's cool. I like that. So on this Earth, Lex Luthor kills the Flash, or a scheme leads to the death of the Flash. Superman, Wonder Woman, and Batman break into what amounts to the White House, and then Superman eventually kills Lex Luthor because he's like, no, you know what? I've essentially tried it the Truth, Justice, the American way, and it's done. Which actually is a line in Injustice, because Superman goes, that's the problem with truth and justice. The battle never ends.
Maybe they watched this episode.
That's true. So at that point, Superman and the Justice League, well, as they're known on this Earth, the Justice Lords, take over Earth and institute a police state.
Yes.
Which was very cool. What do you think of the redesigns for the Justice Lords?
It looks pretty cool. I actually will say Superman's suit almost looks pretty close to his Batman Beyond suit.
Yeah, that's actually a good point there.
Like
the
white,
right?
the white and kind of like the squiggly designs to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually like, it's not a 1-1, but but you got to remember, this came out after that episode of Batman Beyond, so the designers it's very possible they could have been inspired by the Batman Beyond suit.
Yeah, because remember, it was Batman the Animated Series, Batman Beyond, and then I believe Superman, then Justice League. In terms of order,
I can't remember off the top of my head, so I'll take your
The
word.
point is, Justice League came out after Batman Beyond, so it's entirely possible that they were like, let's base it somewhat off of the Batman Beyond suit.
Extremely possible.
Yes. So, and what's really cool about it, so they institute like a complete police state. You can't protest. You can't even complain about your check at a restaurant. We see that. And it's kind of cool because it shows, like, as much as the Flash can be seen as an annoying character, he is the conscience of the Justice League.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They even point, like, they literally point that out and say it, you know.
And what's cool, so then we meet Batman, and it's established that Batman does not really play with the Justice Leaguers anymore. And he gets this, he's watching our reality through a TV screen because he's Batman. So that's my chosen belief as to how he's able to, like, peer into another multiverse.
I mean, we all know Batman's real power is plot armor.
Yeah, it's plot armor or whatever the writer. No, Batman's true superpower is the writer. It's like whenever anyone says Batman versus such and such, it's Batman. If the writer wants Batman to win, he will come up with some cockamamie way.
I gotta bust out the Stan Lee quote. Stan Lee once said, "Who's gonna win in a fight between two superheroes? Whoever the writer wants to win."
And
God, I love that man.
Yeah, he even said he always kept the superhero battles ambiguous so fans could argue about who wins. So I'm like, okay, that works. I like that. Thank you.
Stan was the man.
We love you, Stan. R.I.P. So they decide we have to go fix their Earth too. So, by the way, that was also applied in Justice, where Superman in Justice
Did
1.
they
When
just copy this idea wholesale?
maybe Tom Taylor was copied the whole idea from.
Well,
this
Tom
episode.
Taylor's not known for being the most original person. So.
Well, Dark Knights of Steel is pretty original. I'm gonna push back on that, and the Deceased is pretty original.
Well, you're welcome to push
Well,
back.
actually,
You're
wait.
still wrong,
In
but
this,
you're welcome to push
even
back.
Batman. So actually, it's not Injustice because here, Batman goes along with it at first. So, then Jean Jones, or Evil Jean, as we will call him, EJ, good old EJ, goes to Earth Prime, and he goes, guys, there's a multiversal crisis. I need you to come with me to my Earth. They bring him into
there's a crisis on Infinite Earth?
maybe a crisis on 2 Earths. So there you go. It's kind of funny because
Maybe a crisis on Earth 1, Earth 2.
But wasn't this?
I love how much mileage we're getting out of this joke.
Because DC always does a crisis. So then all the Justice Leaguers move out. They go to Earth. Let's just say Earth BS.
They're making haste
whatever.
because there's a countdown to Infinite Crisis. I'm sorry. I had to. I have to do it.
Are you saying that this is the final crisis?
Well, until the writers decide to do Final Crisis 2 Electric Boogaloo.
Or maybe it's a dark crisis.
Maybe it's a
I don't know, man.
Crisis.
Maybe they go into that world and there's a bunch of death metal playing.
Well, maybe instead of it being a death metal world, what if it's a war world?
Okay, we're making too many puns one after the other, but this is good. I love this. So I'm totally leaving this in. So
please do.
They get into this white box, and yes, thank you. And spoiler alert, guess what? They fall into a trap, and they're all like put in shackles and put in these cells. But if you notice, with Superman's cell, red sunlight. For those that don't know, red solar radiation takes away Superman's powers. That's why no one on Krypton had powers when the planet blew up.
Yeah.
And I like how, like, evil Batman, EB, goes to Batman and goes, yeah, you're never going to break out because I've thought of everything you would think of.
And in the head, he's like, oh, crap, he's right.
He's right. There's no way I can prep he counted my prep time with my greatest weakness. More prep time.
See, but there's one thing that not even Batman could predict.
The Flash. And
I'm sorry, I set you up so well for that.
Yeah, and I like so what the Flash does to escape is he makes his heartbeat at like super speed, so it can't be detected by the machine, so it looks like he flatlined. He is playing off of EB's guilt about the Flash dying because obviously.
Well, could you say he flashlined?
No, so. Flash breaks everyone else out, and then they're like, okay, we have to go. First, we have to save Hawkgirl because she was badly injured.
Wait. Before we do this, we got to give a shout out to an Easter egg.
Which is? Oh, yeah. Okay. So what's cool about it, all right. So Flash starts putting in the combination codes that Batman sell. He's like, I'm trying every combination. Then Batman says 9139. It's like, actually, it's 91939. Now, for those of you that are wondering why that's an Easter egg, take out the first 9, you get 1939, aka the year Batman was invented.
Yeah, I tried to look at like what month Detective Comics 27 came out. It came out in May, so that's not. I was like, oh, it could have been like the month and then the year, but no, that doesn't work. I just looked it up. It's May 1939. But the fact that it's 1939, I mean that's
Yeah, that's an Easter egg, baby. So, and that's really dope about it. And I'm like, oh, because I had to play the combination at like 3/4 to half speed on YouTube in order for it to click. I was like, okay, I got it now. Well done, Paul Dini. And
yeah, because like numbers, like number combinations, like street addresses and passwords are the perfect place to hide these kind of Easter eggs. So
yeah, and then so they go to break because the idea is, where do you put a sick supervillain? It's Arkham Asylum, and it's the most quaint Arkham Asylum ever. The Joker's
it's quite a cheery place.
Yeah, the Joker's the orderly. And Nick, as someone who has watched all the Batman the animated series, how many of the villains did you spot?
I spotted the doll guy.
So Scarface.
Obviously, Two-Face. Obviously, Poison Ivy.
Yeah.
Also, but also you're forgetting Lois Lane appears.
Speaking of villains, I'm only kidding. Yeah, I know. I'm like, this is one of the occasions when I'll have to say I like Lois Lane because I just like how she's giving him hell. And you could tell Superman's annoyed about it because he's had this conversation with her many, many times about the whole greater good, which is similar to the Authority, mind you.
Yeah,
So,
you can definitely tell that they pulled out all the stuff for this episode. Like, they brought back Joker, voiced by Mark Hamill. They brought back Lois Lane, voiced by Dana Delaney. Like, they brought the gang back together for this.
well, yeah, because the question is, you would have to, if you had a Superman that's clearly the evil guy, you would have to bring in Lois Lane at some point, unless you're Tom Taylor, but that's understandable. So,
unless your Lois Lane actress is having pay disputes, in that case, you hire a new actress and have her be Lana Lang for most of the movie.
true. So,
for those who don't get what I'm doing, I was referencing Superman 3.
Yeah. So, what's actually and what's really cool is that when we go to EB's Batcave, did you notice the bat suits hung up?
Wait, what?
It was Batman's original suit, the one good Bruce is wearing. They show that Nightwing, Batgirl, and Robin existed in this universe.
Okay.
So I just thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah. I know the DCAU kind of has a weird relationship with the Tim Drake Robin suit.
Or the weird relationship with the Batgirl suit.
Huh? How so?
Between the Batman suit and the Batgirl suit. Do you know what I'm referring to? Still counts.
Wrong canon.
No, it's canon in this universe, dude. No, I mean, it's still. You said the DCAU has a trouble relationship, so I'm like, yes, including this.
Oh, I thought you were referencing Batwoman. I'm sorry.
No.
It will be.
It's even.
It's a woman.
I know, dude. When I heard that line, I couldn't believe it was.
Can
real.
you give me why did you say that name? I deserve that.
Why did you say that name?
There you go.
Sorry, I deserved it.
I know. As a Batman guy, because currently right now in all my media, I'm having a big Batman binge. Like, I watched The Doom That Came to Gotham. By the way, Nick, that is awesome.
I've seen it. It is indeed awesome.
It is so good. We will be doing a stream on. We may have to do an extra stream on that because that movie's dope as hell.
They do the Lovecraftian thing so well, and like the fact they killed off Dick Grayson so early in the movie, that
happens in the comics too.
Oh, I love the way they handled Green Arrow too.
Yeah, that was he dresses up like a knight. Like, okay.
Because honestly, I love like these Elseworld story where they take the Batman characters and reinterpret them into different things, like Gotham by Gaslight, like all these different reinterpretations. I love them because
in the black. Can we get a Speeding Bullets animated movie?
Because the thing about the Batman characters is they're such universal archetypes for characters. Like they're not bound by time period or anything. Is that you can translate them easily. Like, you could do an ancient Egyptian Batman story.
I want that. Well, and here's the thing about it. And
Ra's al Ghul is a pharaoh.
Yeah, we'll get back to the episode in a second. But I think the thing about Batman is that you don't have to explain superpowers or anything. You just have to have him be really good at tinkering, and you're good to go.
Yeah.
Which I'm so again, I want a Speeding Bullets and a In the Blackest Night animated
Also,
movie.
let's be honest. Batman kind of works better in old-timey situations anyway because he was created in the 30s. So, like, having him set in the 30s or even, like, Gotham by Gaslight 1880s, Batman works better in antiquity environments anyway.
Yeah, I agree with you on that because, I mean, yeah, I agree. We'll save this for our The Doom That Came to Gotham stream. But I just wanted to highlight that because I was saying I'm on a big Batman binge right now with all my content, so I wanted to bring that up. But it's cool seeing all those suits there. So at least some of these, it's showing how similar these worlds are. But here's the question though: if their suits are in the case, what happened to those 3 characters? My theory.
Well, A does equal A, so
Can I tell you my theory, Nick? I think
Sure.
all 3 of them died. Here's why. That would explain why Batman just goes along with Superman.
They either died or they went their own way.
They either died. I'm more inclined on dying because that would be a good way to explain why Batman all of a sudden fell lockstep and barrel with Superman, even after he immediately kills Lex Luthor. He's like, okay, it works for me.
Even our Batman says, like, yeah, I could totally see the thought path that, like, because like he has to fight his own urges all the time. Like, that's what I love about this is their heel turn actually makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
I think actually the heel turn of Superman makes more sense here than it does in Injustice.
Really? Explain.
Because for here, like, they lost the Flash, and like when he's talking to Lex Luthor is talking to Superman, you can actually see the gears turning in his head.
Yeah.
Okay. And honestly, I could totally see Batman going along with it because, like, even Batman even says it in his head. Whereas, correct me if I'm wrong, I think the Injustice one was like, basically, Joker does a nuke on Gotham, and then like he uses some of the.
All right.
He tricks Superman into killing Lois, has his pregnant wife or something.
No, what happened is that Joker steals a nuke, plants that nuke in Metropolis. Then he wires the nuke to Lois's heartbeat. Obviously exposes Superman to kryptonite-laced fear toxin, so it will affect him. Superman flies Lois into space, kills her. Then when her heartbeat goes off, so does the nuclear bomb. So what he did is he made Superman the killer of Metropolis.
So basically, Superman had one bad day.
Yeah, and that's the point. That's the point right there.
I don't know. It's just it's kind of like a sudden kind of thing. Whereas I feel like this one, you can see the gears turning in Superman's head. Shout out to the animators for animating that, by the way.
Yeah. See, here's the thing. You have to read the comics pretty deeply in order to, like, because you can see the to a certain degree, and like the first like volume of Injustice, you see the gears turning in his head, like as he's like depressed and like dealing with all this trauma. He's like, yeah, why didn't we do this? Why didn't we deal with this problem?
Because here's the thing, even like at their worst, the Justice Lords, Superman's kind of a decent guy. Like he's still like, because the Injustice Superman, by the time of the video game,
he's evil. He is Homelander.
Yeah, but and that's the thing where it's like I feel like Superman would never go full a-hole. I feel like the Justice Lord version is a lot more realistic, where he's doing martial law, but he's doing it because he thinks it's for the good of everyone else. Like, he's still trying to be what he thinks is a good person. You know what I'm saying? Like,
to a degree, so isn't Justice Superman, though.
Yes, but Superman, I don't think, because like the Superman we see in this version, it's still the version of, it's still that Superman. Like the Injustice Superman is almost a completely different person than the Superman we know. Like the Superman we know he's still Clark, he's still Superman deep down. You know what I'm saying? Like the way he acts, the way he talks, the way his thought process, even. You know, it's still the Clark we all know and love. Even Batman, even Shire, these characters, they all act like they're characters, but they just have like it's just a different switches flip. You know what I'm saying?
I hope you notice more very heavily intimations about John and Hawkgirl.
Oh yes, for sure.
He's caressing her cheek. As we get the idea that the Justice Lords are together. So I'm like, okay, that works. By the way, the only part of the Justice Lord design that I'm not a big fan of is Wonder Woman's short hair.
I don't know. It kind of works.
It works. It just looked kind of odd to me.
At least they didn't give her like the shaved head thing, which it's, you know, if they were doing that now, they would have totally done that. With
they would have done the Captain Marvel haircut that she had for so long in the comics, the Captain Karen haircut.
The I'm a strong woman haircut.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's just.
I'm sorry, not even Gal Gadot could make that.
This describes that haircut. Are you ready?
Dweeb.
Yes.
There you
Snyder
go.
has
Thank
spoken.
you, Zach. Snyder's always right, but that's besides the point.
He is always right.
He is always right.
Unless we're talking about the tornado scene.
That could have been done better. I will admit that.
Even you admit
They
that.
could have done more to like make it so Superman there's no way it's like if they had like put like a big divide, like if there was a huge gap, I think that would have been better. I still like it. I still get the idea of it, but that would have been a tad better.
I love Snyder, but the only two scenes that I actually object to is the tornado and the Martha scene. Everything else is great.
The Martha scene?
But we've gone over this.
I don't think we've gone over the Martha scene, but that'll be a good debate.
We did in our BVS review. We did in our BVS review.
Okay, well, anyway. So let's talk about this Doomsday. I have a perfect clip that describes this Doomsday. Are you ready?
He fills out his clothes like lentils fill out a sandwich bag.
Oh my God, you've been waiting to put that one out.
I was waiting, because here's the thing. When we were talking about, we're going to talk about Doomsday later, I was trying to find a good clip to introduce him, and I was like, you know what? That actually works really well. Because here's my problem with this Doomsday. He's too lucid, because Doomsday's supposed to be a blind rage monster. Which they give you the idea. They give you that until he starts talking, he's pretty much Doomsday.
Also, I got a couple problems. Why would you use why would you randomly just use Doomsdays for a random episode? Doomsday is literally a season finale villain. You literally build an entire season around Doomsday.
Yeah,
Doomsday,
that's true. They made him out like a throwaway villain. If there's one villain that's not a throwaway villain, it's Doomsday.
Also, it should not have been that easy to lobotomize him. Also, here's the other thing. I could see regular Superman lobotomizing Doomsday. Like, the people acting like, you lobotomized him. Why did you do that? Like, I'm sorry. But, I could see Superman as, a last resort lobotomizing Doomsday. As that kind of thing. I could totally see him doing that.
In the comics, in the last resort, he killed Doomsday.
By the way, add that to the Superman kill list.
Yes, exactly. By the way, I did like where, Doomsday punches Superman and causes this shockwave that, takes out all the windows. Apparently in the DCAU, by the way, apparently in the DCAU, they really hate windows.
Also, I will say this. In terms of Man of Steel, Zod snapping Clark stabbing Superman's neck, I got no problem with that. In fact, I defend that decision. So that,
me too. There are certain ways. I mean, obviously, I've done many videos explaining the Martha scene, and that's fine. You're allowed to have your own wrong opinions. But by the way, I may do one. I'm planning my next Snyder defended one is going to be the tornado scene, where I will admit could have been done a lot better, but the overall idea of the scene makes sense.
I might need to be there for that one.
You could be there for that. Yeah, absolutely sure. But
I could be the voice of opposition. We could kind of come to consensus or something.
Yeah, that works. But okay, so back to this. Again, it shouldn't have been that hard to lobotomize Doomsday. I admit it, but again, it's like the minute Doomsday starts talking, says, "I just want to take on your strongest war." I'm like, shut up.
Yeah.
Because the reason why Doomsday worked in the comics so well is because he's
a force of nature. He's just a force of nature.
With this, it makes him sound like he was just some bounty hunter.
Yeah. Also, they never explained, did the Justice Lord send Doomsday to there? Or was it a random occurrence that they just happened to someone? They're very vague about that.
I think it was a random occurrence because Doomsday showed up, and then as he's rampaging, that's when their portal opens.
I don't know. They don't really explain it that well because it could go either way. The way that they're talking and the way they play it, it could be that they planned it. It could be that it was random. So I'm kind of.
Well, how would they plan it? Because Doomsday's rampaging when they first arrive.
They could have prepared it, had Martian Manhunter do something. I don't know. There's they didn't explain it well enough.
That's fine.
They kind of imply it might have been planned, but they also imply that it was random. There's not enough information.
Either way doesn't work, by the way, because how would you plan Doomsday? And second off,
also,
yeah, go ahead.
Also, imagine if it was a random occurrence and neither the Justice League or Lords were there. They fricked.
Yeah, because let's face it, none of the other superheroes is going to be able to stand up to Doomsday. No. And that was in the comics because the Justice League was a bunch of D-listers and they got their ass handed to them by Doomsday.
Yeah.
But that's a good occurrence. That'd be a good Elseworld story. But the thing is, That's one of the occurrences in the DCAU where I'm like, that was dumb as hell.
Yeah.
That was the one. As much as people defend certain parts that I hate in the DCAU, I'm like, I'm sorry, this is indefensible.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to knock points off for that.
Yeah, I'm sorry, because as a fan of Superman and Doomsday, like, nope, sorry, dude.
So overall, I would give this episode an 8. Like, it would be a 9, but the Doomsday thing, like the multiple, like the fact that Doomsday there, the fact like the bottomy thing, the way they handle it, it knocks it down to two tiers.
But
I'm sorry.
Doomsday will return in Justice League Unlimited, so we will see him again. I can confirm. I'm just going to tell you this right now. I can confirm he'll be more of the Blind Rage Doomsday.
Cool. What do you give this episode?
I give it a solid 8 out of 10 because of that. Because I'm like, yeah, that's a 2-point off reason. But I like the rest of the episode enough to give it that high mark.
If you remove Doomsday, I give this a 9.
Yes, because I love it when they put superheroes in like the whole freedom versus security argument. It's why I love Civil War and Injustice.
I mean, you got to realize this is very shortly after 9/11 when these conversations were happening. This is like, I think this is even before the Iraq War, because this was airing what 2002.
Mm-hmm. And this is before
When did this air?
Yeah, hang on. 2003.
Okay, so yeah, we're like the Iraq War is just getting started. With Afghanistan has been going on for a year. Obviously, we're past 9/11. Like Patriot Act. Like, this is part of the national conversation. It's like, I was in middle school, early high school during this era, and let me tell you, this was part of the conversation. This whole like freedom versus security. Like, even middle schoolers and like early high schoolers were talking about this stuff back then.
By the way, I just want to say, this is not the first time in the DCAU that they've dealt with alternate reality evil Superman, because you had like an evil Superman that showed up in like an episode of Superman the Animated Series. It was the one called Brave New Metropolis, which is alternate reality became a dictator with the help of his partner Lex Luthor. Yes, you heard that correctly.
Oh, we need to mention the stuff with Lex Luthor at the end. Like, basically they said, we need to cross a line of our own. I actually got to say, I actually thought that was really well done. The line they chose to cross was A, working with Lex Luthor, and B, giving him a pardon. Like they crossed the line. Obviously, that was like a dirty deal, but like they had to cross some line, and I think they chose the best line to cross.
They chose the best one because obviously these versions are not going to kill anyone, so it's like, yeah, this was the best option. And I love
also foreshadowing.
Yes,
I have to say this. I was thinking of getting into politics.
And I do love so Lex Luthor is like, no, where he's like, oh, it would be so hilarious if I depowered you. But no, a deal is a deal. Which shows that, at the very least, say what you want about Lex Luthor, he will honor a deal.
I mean, also the fact that, like, at most, he can maybe depower one of them. Like, sure, he can depower Superman. But Flash is literally right there.
Flash is going to take you out, dude.
Also, like, Flash, his reaction time is so quickly. It's like Flash could Flash is right there. He could probably take the gun away before he's even finished pulling the trigger.
Or he could move Superman out of the way as the bolt comes at him. So there's no way you're going to be able to like resolve that.
So he's better like, okay, I can't get out of this, so I'm just going to posture and then save face.
Yeah, so there you go. And I enjoyed that. And I love how Lex, it's still hurtful for Lex because he has to admit that he couldn't have done it without Superman. That was great. I'm like, oh, you could kind of hear in Clancy Brown's voice the utter pain in admitting I couldn't have done this without Superman.
If he really did shoot the gun, when he did that, he should have shouted, "There can only be one!"
McCloud!
Sorry, I had to reference it.
Yeah, I know. By the time this goes live, we will have already done the Highlander discussion. So if you want that, I'll put a link to, I'll put a card to it on the top of this episode for that reference alone.
Yeah.
But yeah, so 8 out of 10, I think is a solid thing because, again, this episode is not horrible. It's just that one Doomsday thing that really hit me like through a loop. And I'm like, Yeah, that sucks. Because again, it does for as many DC characters that Bruce Timm and Paul Dini seem to get. Doomsday ain't one of them.
Yeah, I guess you could say it was not their day. I broke him. I broke him.
That's on the level of Jay Heat singing Wonder Bat. Don't you dare! I can remove you.
Super Wonder Ship.
Batman doesn't do ships.
You do realize what I was saying, though, right?
Oh, I wanted to play that. So on that note, we're going to call it because I think that was a fun discussion. And again, solid episode for Doomsday. And we will see you guys for the next week. By the way, real quick, before I let you guys go, I'm going to let you know what the next arc we will be discussing is. It should be super fun. It should be another good one. This is so far my favorite arc that we've talked about. And
Is it Noah's Ark?
And
I'm sorry, the pause said everything.
thin ice, Nick. Thin ice.
Chill.
Yeah, exactly. So we are discussing the Justice League arc entitled Eclipsed, which is the one we're in Eclipso.
I wonder if the amount of puns I laid down here is going to eclipse the ones I do next week.
Yeah. But by the way, speaking of the death of Superman, there is an arc in here that even though it has the different circumstances surrounding the death of Superman, they basically do the whole funeral for a friend thing. So I can't wait to talk about that one. It's one of my favorites. So on that note, everyone, stay heroic, and I will see you in the next one.